increasing resources to support local governments and organizations working on diverting recycling from landfills. Today's bill helps establish Recycling Market Development Center to support end market businesses. So there's really to make sure that the economy can work in recycling, so that there are markets for the recycled products. It is so important. CDPHE will now be involved with administering statewide public service announcement campaigns to educate Coloradans about recycling. This is the right thing to do. It can unleash the market potential for recycling that we know is there when we get this end use in place. And it's my pleasure to introduce Colorado's first gentleman, Marlon Reese, an advocate for our environment, our wildlife, our Colorado way of life, and for recycling. Marlon.
Thank you so much, Governor, and thank you to the sponsors of this extraordinary bill, Representatives Cutter and Arndt, and Senators Priola and Story. We really want Colorado to be a leader in fighting climate change brought on by human industries. And proper recycling is such an important piece in working towards that success. To do that, it's important for us to support the great value that recycling, composting, and reusing items brings to our state by creating local jobs and helping communities be more sustainable. And that's what this bill does. Unfortunately, as of last year, Colorado's recycling rate was still only 17%, which is just half our national average, and far behind the state's goal of 28% by 2021. Our compost rate, meanwhile, was well below the national average as well. We like to think of Colorado as a forward-thinking state in this regard, but it's time for us to recognize the uncomfortable truth that we send way too much trash to the landfill, and we need to do better. We need to make recycling and reusing more convenient and more profitable, and that's what this bill does. I'm so glad particularly that this bill will incentivize companies that will use our recycled materials, such as cardboard and plastics, to make new products right here in our state towards the goal of a more circular economy. In addition, we need to continue to provide every resident a way to get convenient curbside recycling, especially along the I-25 corridor. The Front Range alone sent over 5 million tons of municipal waste to landfills in 2018, accounting for more than 85% of the entire state's waste disposal. We need to do a better job, and I look forward to continuing to work on these issues. This bill will help protect our environment, sustain our communities, and grow our economy, and I'm proud to support it. Thank you to everyone who worked on it.
Thank you, Marlon, and let's go to Representative Cutter, lead sponsor.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you so much. I am so thrilled to share this passion for our beautiful state and the environment with the first gentleman, Marlon Reese, and get to work with him a bit. This is really exciting. One of the bills that came out of our Zero Waste Interim Committee last summer. And each year, $265 million in recyclable materials goes into the landfill. That material could be recycled right here in Colorado. We have an opportunity here to be a regional hub to create local jobs and strengthen our local economies. We can attract new businesses to the state and create jobs for Coloradans by creating incentives for manufacturers to incorporate recycled materials into their products, and by providing them with a strong supply of clean recycled feedstock to use from these community recycling programs. So this is a great first step in putting us on the path to becoming that regional recycling hub. It's bottom line, it's smart for the environment and it's smart for the economy. So I'm really thrilled to support this bill.
Thank you. And Senator Story.
Thank you, Governor. I'm delighted to be here and really proud to be a part of this bill. I also served on the Zero Waste and Recycling Committee last summer with Representative Cutter as the chair. It was a great opportunity to really look at it deeply at what we're doing in Colorado relative to recycling and zero waste. And this bill is going to be great, as has been mentioned, in terms of growing the economy, building new industry here in Colorado, in an area where we really are somewhat of a desert. We don't have a lot of manufacturing, not even in Colorado, but even in surrounding states. So it's time we get that rolling. And I believe, too, that Colorado stands to be a strong leader in this regard. The other piece of it, as also was mentioned, is also building our recycling efforts and getting more of our waste materials into the recycling stream and out of going to the landfill. It can only help our environmental cause here, reduce methane gas, and utilize those materials into products that are also useful. So I look forward to watching this process develop and bringing in some new industry here and really making things work better for our environmental causes in the state of Colorado. And I'm proud to be a supporter and supporting this bill from the Senate.
Thank you. And we have Randy Moorman from Recycle Colorado to say a few words. Randy?
Here today again. I am the Community Campaigns Director at EcoCycle, a nonprofit social enterprise that implements and advocates for zero waste solutions. And I'm also here today representing Recycle Colorado. We are a statewide nonprofit organization working to advance infrastructure in markets and state and local policies in waste reduction, recovery, and diversion. We have over 300 members from across the state, from the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. And I first want to express our sincere appreciation to our sponsors, Senator Priola and Senator Story and Representatives Cutter and Arndt. They championed this bill from its inception at the Zero Waste and Recycling Interim Committee to its passage in both the House and the Senate. And we all know that this year was particularly challenging with COVID-19. So thank you so much for your perseverance and dedication. And I also want to recognize the members of Recycle Colorado who advocated for the need to develop recycling end markets here in our state. And finally, I want to thank you, Governor Polis and First Gentleman Reese, for your leadership in making Colorado more sustainable. I know since the beginning of the Polis administration, we have talked about the importance of building a recycling economy here in Colorado. And today's bill signing of Senate Bill 55 really begins that important step towards building that recycling economy. So thank you again for your leadership. As Representative Cutter stated earlier, our recycling rate is 17%, less than half the national average of 35%. And we face many challenges in the state that include a lack of local recycling markets for major recycling materials. And so this bill today is really going to help us advance forward in that effort. And with the signing of Senate Bill 55, we will be following the best practices of other states and create a recycling end market development center that's actually going to attract those businesses here and create jobs for Coloradans by providing incentives for manufacturers to incorporate recycled materials into their products. Additionally, by developing a more circular economy in Colorado, we will increase the demand for recycled materials, in turn raising their value and making recycling more economically viable here. So again, thank you, Governor, and thank you to our sponsors.
Well, without further ado, let's get a start to it. I'm going to point the camera angle down a little bit so we can see me sign it here. There we go. And you're right, this is a start. This is not the end. And I know the Representative Cutter, the First Gentleman, Senator Story, Randy, myself, we are all dedicated to really moving Colorado from a laggard to a leader in recycling. End markets are an important start of that, developing and having the center. We're all excited about partnering together in future sessions to get even more done. So here we go. And it's now officially the law of Colorado. Congratulations, everybody. And for those watching from home, remember to recycle and compost where you can. We do in our home. You should do it in yours. And we look forward to expanding recycling all over the state of Colorado. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, First Gentleman Reese.
Thank you, everyone.